Boom, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the Kenny Parker Show, who just knocked over the microphone. That's a great way to start the show. Welcome to the Kenny Parker Show once again. Boy, what a day. We do this every Tuesday and Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, uh, I saw an announcement on StreamYard, the program that I'm using, that says that some people might not be able to get on YouTube Live. So I hope that this is going through okay. You guys let me know in a second. Uh, so I'm going to push through as if we are live and see if we can catch up. Abel Valdez, you are first in the building. Not only are you first, but you left a very nice comment. Let me make this a little bit bigger so I can see. Says, peace, Kenny. I'm listening to the Audible again. Thank you so much. I'm on chapter 9, meal ticket chapter. A very important chapter. This is an incredible read. And listen, I had to listen to it a second time. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Uh, what was I gonna say? Spook Realm 4Q is not with us today, but we're still gonna do the Spook Realm 4Q uh, PSA, which is one. Pick up the book. If you don't have the book that Abel Valdez is talking about, my brother's name is Kenny, the true origin story of BDP. Behind the scenes stuff. Y'all know the drill. This is only for people that's new to the channel. The link is in the description below, and the audio book is in the description as well. Please pick that up. Please hit the thumbs up if you get a chance. We probably get less than 10% of the people that listen actually hit the thumbs up button. So if you get a chance, please do it. It helps the algorithm so we can have more like-minded people in the channel. And big up to the Rewind crew who's going to check this out later on. And big up to the early crew who's on right now, which I'm going to check out some of you guys real quick. And I'm going to try to move quick because I have a couple of announcements. People Jones and what up? You're at your doctor's appointment, but we'll check back in later. That's dope. Um, Gregory Netter says, congratulations to the Michigan Wolverines, his Michigan Wolverines, for winning the championship. That is a fantastic accomplishment. Um, Michigan hasn't won since back in the days of Glenn Rice. Uh, but I think they beat my boys from Seton Hall. So big up to Michigan. Um, that is a tremendous accomplishment. Big up to the women too, UCLA that won the championship. J Wu 72, New Haven, Connecticut. Sydney Rhodes, what up? Um, let's see. A Steele, what up? Sydney Rhodes. I said Sydney Rhodes. Did I say Sydney Rhodes? Rosmel, what up? Yeah, Sydney Rhodes. It says that's what's all about. Championships are hard to come by. You got to enjoy. They are extremely hard to come by. You look at Michigan hasn't won a championship in 35 years since their last one, I believe. No, they won. Or was that Michigan State? I think Michigan State won, not Michigan, but it's very difficult. Anyway, in all sports, Rod Justice, what up? DJ Dominic, what up? Miss Hunley, hey. Hey, DJ Kenny, did you ever try a snickerdoodle cookie? Do you have any cool stories from Pittsburgh? I've never tried a snickerdoodle cookie, never even heard of it till you just said it just now. Do I have any cool stories from Pittsburgh? I'm sure we've done shows in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I don't remember. I'm trying to think maybe if a college like Pitt or something. I think we performed at Pitt before. But no, not off the top of my head. I don't have any recollections of Pittsburgh that much. MK Ultra, what up? Miss Hunley says, do you prefer digital or vinyl for DJ gigs? These days, I prefer digital because I have access to a lot of music, a lot of mashups that I've done, and it's easier to carry, and you don't have to worry about record skipping and the elements and things like that. I love doing the vinyl, especially when I rock my 45 parties. I have a lot of fun doing that. But I would have to say these days I prefer digital. It's much easier to work with. Uh, PBNYC KP, the Fab Five never won a championship. Can they still be considered the best starting five in NCAA history? Well, there's criteria. Are we going by what they did in their careers in the NBA too, or just if you go by if you're going by just college, the answer has to be no. It's not the best starting five. Chris Webber was, and I think they had what, two All Americans? Like first, I think Jalen Rose and Chris Webber were two All Americans. Then they had they had four other very good players, but I don't think they were at the All American level, but very good. But there's teams, some of those UCLA teams that won three in a row, four in a row. Some of those teams are really, really good. Yeah, I think you'd have to win a championship to be in that mix. I thought that UNLV team with Larry Johnson, I thought that was a really tough team. They had a great starting five, but if you're just going college, I would have to say championships have to matter. The greatest YouTube channel ever created. Thank you. I will agree with that 100%. Um, I Rod Justice. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince released their debut album, Rock the House, April 7th, 1987. Thought it was before 87. Oh. I love those, Rod Justice, so keep them coming. Henry Sedillo, what up? Sweet Goldilocks, what's up? Um, hey, Tracy. Jack Swagger. We are live, sir. Thank you so much, Jack Swagger. Rod Justice says it's working. Thank you. Yeah, I got an alert saying that they were having some issues, but thankfully it's not us. And thankfully, the World War III hasn't started today. It's been averted at the last minute. I saw just before we came on, so that's good news. Um, Let me get some more shouts. Hakeem, what up? Uh, Danelle Don Freeman, what up? Moran Green, I can never get this right. Moran Green, shout out from the Bay Area. I'm from Harlem, but living out there now. It's pronounced Margin Marano. Marano. Moran, yo. I'm still getting it wrong. Hey, I'm sorry. Derek Mallory, Minneapolis. Philly Sheed, what up? Um, let's see. Poetic, what's up, Kenny? Did you see the clip of Karis One promoting a new video for a song called "Love Is the Message"? No, I did not see the clip, but I saw that he was shooting a video for it. He shot some of it the day that I was at the KRS concert, which was 2 weeks ago. And of course, I have the song. He played it for me about a month and a half ago. So I knew it was coming, but no, I didn't see the video promoting it. But there is a whole video being shot for that. What's up, Cynthia? Hey, my girl Cynthia is in the building, China Doll. Um, Nobody cares about whack Michigan. Yo, they won the championship, man. You got. I tip my hat to anybody who go. The March Madness is brutal. That's why they say survive in advance. March Madness is brutal, man. I tip my hat to anybody who wins it all. Latrice Washington, what's up? Engaged VR, what's up? Rich Shot. Glenn Rice was a sniper. Yes, he was in the college and the pros. Explicit DMC, what's up? Uh, Murder for Hire. Kenny, have you heard of a rapper named Drama B? He reminds me of a young KRS. He's dope. Check him out. I think I saw when he has a video, which is like a Wu-Tang video, like Wu-Tang beat. It's almost like I think he used the substitution break, and he has like a chant in it that reminds me of like Bring the Pain. I liked him a lot. Yes, I did see that. Drama B. That's the only video that I saw. But yes, he just came on my radar about a couple weeks ago. We got a super chat. Let me jump in here. Jay Woo, you already know. Thank you so much for your contribution to the channel. MMA Crossfire, what up? Um, Rod Justice says taco equals Trump's always chickens out. I saw that. I guess that has to do with the tariffs. But you know what? In this case, based on the threats, I am glad that whatever we call it, chicken out, cooler heads prevail, diplomacy, whatever you want to call it, the world is a better place without what was threatened, in my opinion. Joyce says Jazzy Jeff for the Fresh Prince album was released before '87. It came out on an independent label first. That's what I thought, but I don't have the information in front of me. Um, let's see. Spook Realm made it to the dance. What up, Spook Realm? Let's see. Let me scroll down a little bit. I got a couple of announcements to make. Um, Follow the leader. What's up? Biz is singing "It's Spring Again." I was in the studio when he was mixing that song. Uh, but it doesn't feel like it in New York. We have a freeze advisory for the morning. Sucks. So sick of it. MMA says it's just another deadline. Yeah, but I'm glad it just I'm glad it just turned into that. Did you do any work on either the Heal album or the Historic Live album? What? First of all, I did a song with Heather B. That was the first song we ever did on the Heal album. Um, so yes, and the live album, I DJ'd 95% of that album is my DJing. D Nice did one piece. There was one piece that was recorded the year before, and D Nice DJ'd that part. They took that a recording and put it on the live album, but everything else is me. And there's a little part where KRS is DJing. If you see the live video, it's a little part where KRS is DJing, is mixing down for Jamal Ski. Other than that, 98% of that album is me. Um, okay, let me jump in with CMC, what it do? KRS needs to drop World Peace right now. Yes, he does. Uh, Follow Leader says, KP, great book. Thank you so much. Left me disappointed it ended. Sorry, man. At some point, you got to cut it off. Have you thought about writing a second one? Uh, kind of, but this first one took a lot out of me. The other stories, I'm really just telling them here on YouTube. Um, maybe down the road. pick up where I left off, which leads me into, we talked about this on Friday. This Sunday coming up, I believe the date is the 12th, we will be doing an all book live question and answers. Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're doing a live, just, well, anyone could enter the live, but it's for the people who read the book. So it's going to be a lot of spoilers. We're going to talk about the book. I'm going to talk about the creation of it, how it came about, a little of the behind the scenes of what brought the book together, some stuff that was supposed to be in the book that's not in the book. And any questions you guys have, I'm really looking forward to this. We settled on Sunday, 1 p.m., the 12th of April, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This Sunday coming up, we will be doing an all book live, and I am really looking forward to that. Also, the big announcement is KRS-One is going on the My Philosophy European tour starting April 22nd. And we'll do most of Europe. We'll be out there for a few months. And yours truly, Kenny Parker, will be on that tour. Uh, I will be DJing some of the shows along with my nephew Prime, and I will also be DJing the parties. I will be the house DJ for all of the shows and some of the live show. So your boy is going to be out in Europe starting in about 2 weeks from now. So I'm still going to do the lives, of course. Uh, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in New York will be 2 a.m. out there. So depending on, I'm still going to try to do them, depending on how long the shows go, what time we get back to the rooms, travel in the morning, or whatever, we'll see. But I'm going to try to keep up the shows. If I don't get a chance to do it on the Tuesday or Friday, I'll then move it to the next day. But y'all, I'm going to have a lot of footage. I'm going to have a lot of behind the scenes footage because I will be behind the scenes. So y'all going to get a chance to check out a BDP tour from the travel. I'm going to try to show you guys as much as I can. Matt Lyon will also be on this tour, so I'm gonna get a chance to hopefully get him on the channel. And of course, I have a few months to try to narrow down the Blast Master and get him on and get him to sit down and talk to us, I guess, on some days off or whatever. But that's gonna be my goal on this tour, to get the Blast Master live on the Kenny Parker Show. I've been saying it for a couple years, and we're in the same place and time and have some time. I want to get him on a show. I didn't want to do it on a split screen. I want to do it actually in person. So I will be with him for a while. We're going to be out there for a while. So, yes, the My Philosophy KRS-One tour starts in 2 weeks, and I will be traveling out there. So, I'll keep you guys updated. So, the book live is Sunday, April 12th, and then I'm headed out. So this is gonna be. I haven't DJed with BDP. I haven't DJed with Chris in over a decade. So this is gonna be. I have done little spot things, but really like to really be out there in like over a decade. So this is gonna be crazy. Your boy is back in business. We got a super chat. Let me jump on this real quick. Vincent Ross, thank you so much for your contribution to the channel. Do you consider Fab Five Freddy a pioneer? I consider a pioneer anyone who was doing hip hop, who contributed to hip hop before records. I'm gonna throw the Sugar Hill Gang in there too because they had the first record. But I'm gonna go 79 and back. So I would assume that Fab Five Freddy was on the scene before that. He wasn't exactly doing music. I know he was a graph artist. Um, I got to pick up his book because I really got to see what was going on with him. But he was early in the game, though. So I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna consider Fat Five Freddy part of that pioneer crew. Yes, I'm gonna say yes. Even though I need to see his biography to get a little bit more in depth in what he was doing. Uh, Spook Realm says, you know what that means? Live shows in the lobby. I know, right? Because um, depending on the Wi-Fi, we'll see. Depending on the Wi-Fi, we'll see. I don't know. That's another thing because the Wi-Fi in some of these countries is not like it is here, and in the hotels, it's going to be a whole adventure. Uh, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to play it by ear. Do you ever get to show off your mixing skills when you're performing live? No, I try. The crowd is there to see KRS-One. For me, how I approach BDP shows is I like to keep everything steady and on time. If you don't really notice me, that means I'm doing a good job. If you have to look at the DJ and notice me, what's going on, that means it's taking away from Chris. There are certain artists that I feel that you really you want their vocals and their performance to be the number one attention grabber at just about all times. And so my job is to keep the music going and keep the timing right. So I don't really like, for me, if I go to see a KRS show, I don't really want to see anybody doing DJ tricks and all that. For me, I'd rather see KRS do more songs from his catalog than see somebody cutting up um Run DMC. There it is. I'd rather see KRS do more songs. That's just me. So no, I to answer that question, not really, no. Um, let me jump down a little bit. I want to see. Um, I will see how it goes. Kenny, how do you quality improve? You read the book so you can be on that show. You don't have to prove you read the book. Like I said, anybody could come in on the live, but depending on the questions that you ask, I will know if you read the book. Um, and if you have some questions, if you haven't read the book and have questions, like if you're interested in maybe checking it out and you're not sure, you can pop in. There's going to be some spoilers, of course, but I'm answering questions about the book, so I wouldn't know how to prove if somebody read it. It just depends on the questions that they ask. I'm telling you in advance that there's going to be some spoilers, but Sweet Goldilocks says, "Yay! Thank you so much." Tracy says, "Congratulations. That's awesome." BDP. Yeah, the old crew is going to be back in the business. The real Chef Daddy. Thank you. Congratulations. Um, Boom Bap says, "Dan, wish I could be out there." I will try to get you guys as much coverage. The thing is, and one of the reasons why I didn't film the show when I was at the KRS show on 2 Fridays ago in New York is because there's like 100 camera phones up. Any show that somebody does, you can see the footage literally that night. I might get y'all some footage. I don't know if I'm gonna get footage of the actual show. Maybe I want to get more footage of sound check, backstage, traveling, in stores. I want you to get a feel for uh what it's like to be out there, to travel, the hotels, the people. I think Chris mentioned that Buckshot may or may not come out there for some dates. Don't quote me on that, but I heard Chris mention that, but I don't know if that's for sure. Razcast will be out there too. Razcast. Shout out to Razcast. He'll be at Is it Razcast or Razcast? It's Razcast. Razcast will be out there. Or is it Rozcast? Rozcast. Is it Rozcast or Razcast? He will be there too. Um, so it's going to be really interesting. Well, it's going to be a lot of work. We're out there for a while, like months. Um, Earthtown USA. Hi, Kenny. Ordered your book from Barnes and Nobles. The first book was your cover, but the pages were another book. I reordered the book. What? Oh wow, they messed up the pressing. Sorry to hear that, man. Thank you for reordering. That's odd. Um, yeah, that is odd. Kenny gonna be doing a live chat in a French beret. Yes, we will be in Paris for some shows. We'll be in France, but Paris, I know for a fact, is one of the shows. JT, thank you so much for your contribution. That's big news, KP. Wishing you much success on the tour. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, thank you. Um, I was waiting to get the absolute confirmation before I said anything. Uh, Jason Ward, have you ever? I've never been outside of the U.S. other than briefly in Toronto. If you get a chance, you should travel. I suggest most people travel, even though right now the world is a little weird right now, but just to get a feel for different cultures and just to get a feel to see how people see Americans from other parts of the world is very interesting. Um, I suggest anyone, if you get a chance to travel um, to a safe place, please do that. It expands your horizon. I remember being a kid and I had never really been outside of New York City that much. I remember going to Jersey and it was like, whoa, I am far from home. And I was right across the water. So, Ray Rock says, did Sugar Hill Gang have the first rap record? Well, I would say the first official rap record. You know, some people cite King Tim the Third. I don't really count King Tim the Third as a rap record. The Fatback Band was an actual real funk band that had many records. Uh, and they actually was an R&B band, funk band, who did a rap song. It wasn't rappers doing a rap song. It was a funk band that did a rap song that came out a little before Sugar Hill. So even though I think I heard Sugar Hill Gang first, I think I heard Rappers Delight before we heard King Tim the Third. But King Tim the Third did come out first, and so people consider that the first rap song. But I consider Rappers Delight the first rap song to me. Um, let's see. Def Rocker says Fab was a writer back in the day. Yes. Wild Style was the first movie, definitely a pioneer. Yeah, but Wild Style dropped in 83. By 83, I don't consider people from 83 pioneers. You get put more in the legend category to me. Pioneers to me are people who, outside of Run DMC, they get a pass. Everyone else I consider people who were part of the formative, who made hip hop what it was, and then it came onto record. Pioneers to me are like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Cold Crush, Bam, Herc. Those are pioneers, Busy Bee, people before um people who were rapping in the late 70s who made it what it is. And speaking of that, it just came on my timeline earlier today too that Blondie from Sequence passed away. I was seeing that on my timeline. It made me kind of sad. Speaking of Sugar Hill, the first female rap group, we lost Angie B. Hey, that's me. Um, Last year. Now we just lost Blondie, and so I guess Shirley Pearl is the only one still alive. I saw that. Rest in peace to Blondie's family. We lost another of our hip hop family. Seems like every week I say this all the time. I don't consider Wild Style pioneer. It was the first rap movie, but by '83, I don't consider that a pioneer. That's just my opinion. Shawn B is still a classic. Wild Style is a classic. MTV is a classic. Fab is a legend. Yes, he is absolutely a legend. Um, let's see. Uh, Spook Realm says, no, my brother, from another mother. I mean, on when you are doing your own shows, do you ever show off your mixing skills during those shows? Oh, when I'm DJ myself, not lately. The parties I do now mostly are young people. When I play hip hop, are younger people, and they really want the records to just come on. They don't even understand records, scratching a record and starting it back from the beginning and then bringing it back from the beginning. They want the record to come on as they know it. It's like almost like DJing like you're on Spotify. Um, so no, I don't even scratch as much now when I'm DJing out parties than I did back in the day. Less scratching now. So the answer still is no, because they don't really they don't understand why you're starting the record and starting it back. Once the record comes on, it's on. Basically, if you follow what I'm saying. Um, uh, Power Soul says, big shout to the KPBDP fam. Thank you. Fat Five might be the most important pioneer of hip hop since he emerged uptown, black talent, and downtown white money. And we got to be real. That's how hip hop blew. The most important pioneer of hip hop. I would disagree with that. I can't have him over Herc. I can't have him over Flash and the Furious Five. I can't have him over Bam. I can't have him over Cold Crush. But what he did do was, well, I didn't read his book, so I need to know more. But, he did bring people like Blondie. He was downtown. For those that don't know New York, uptown is Harlem. Uptown is Harlem. And then if you go further up, and they call it uptown because the numbers go up. So if you start at like West 4th Street, 4th Street is the village in Manhattan. And then the numbers go up 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and it just goes up. So it go uptown. You're going uptown. 42nd Street, Times Square is literally the 42nd Street. You keep going up and you get to Harlem, which is like 110th to like 100 and what is it? And 150, 150 something is that's uptown. And then you go into the Bronx. So uptown back in the day was mostly black and Hispanic, and downtown, Lower East Side, the Village, was where all the rock people hung out. That's where CBGB's was, and that's where Blondie and uh, those punk rock groups hung out downtown. That's where Madonna used to hang out. That's where all of the artists used to hang out downtown. And uptown was hip hop. Could you imagine what a time to be alive in New York City? Downtown is punk rock, the foundings of punk rock and disco, and then uptown is hip hop, all starting at the same time. Crazy. And so what Fab Five Freddy was doing was hanging out downtown and uptown, and he would bring people from downtown uptown. So that's how he brought Blondie from the CBGB's downtown up to uh was it the Fever? I forgot what club it was, uptown. And that's when they saw rap. And she said, "Oh, this is incredible. I'm about to get on the mic." And Deborah Harry was like, "Rapture. I'm about to do this." And made one of the biggest records in the world at that time. But yeah, he did do stuff like that. He was connecting people, but still, I can't put him over these other guys. But not trying to downplay his importance. I'm just saying, but I have to read his book, um, so I can know a little bit better. KP, are you planning on contributing to the set list and playing some rare joints? You mean the live show list? Probably not. I'm only going to be doing some of the live shows. Um, Now, what I play in the club, I'm going to be playing, I'm trying to get the place rocking, so I'm going to be playing a lot of classics, but I'm going to slip in some rare joints because, I got to feel the crowd. You feel the crowd to see how deep can you go. Do you want to stay on the surface and play the surface hits? Or do you kind of probe a little bit and see what if I go a little bit deeper into these artists collections and see what it is. So I don't know. I got to see what the crowds are like. Um, Bebo Joneson is back. Uh, Amni Hassan, hey everyone, still healing. Blessing. Still trying my best to stay tuned in. Hang in there as long as you can, man. We understand, but just healing is way more important. Gino Yukon coach is a sore loser. Yes, he is. And he's had a history of losing it, especially when it comes to women coaches. Him and Pat Summitt used to have wars back in the day. Tennessee, the late great Pat Summitt of Tennessee. But yeah, he embarrassed himself. Uh, Gino did, and he apologized. UConn was there's no such thing as supposed, but they were favored heavily, heavily to win the championship until it didn't happen. That's why you always have to be appreciative when you win a championship because it's very hard. And all it takes is one bad game. UConn, both of their star players, Sarah Strong and AZ Fudd, had off nights. Both of them. If only one of them had an off night, they would have won. Both of them had an off night. It only takes one off night in the dance, and you are home. Um, Corey Flex says, Kenny, Sunday, will there be any special guests? Get the lady who did your mother on that show. Shout out to Rose Daniels, um, who's also the co-author of my book. She did a fantastic job. Uh, I do believe she'll be checking in. I don't know if I will have her on a split screen, but she definitely will be checking in. Um, I don't want to give it away for those that didn't hear the audio, so let me just not comment. I will see. I don't want to comment. I don't want to give it away. Um, Explicit Kenny, not gonna ask your top 20 KRS songs, but when KRS did the verses, do you agree with everything he chose? Would you have wanted another song added? I would have done things differently. I mean, for the most part, the songs were there, but there are songs that he didn't do that he could have done, and I would have changed the order around a little bit. Um, like there's even medleys of songs like he didn't do. I'm not sure if he did listen to my 9mm go bang. He might have did that. He didn't do the P is free. Um, he didn't do Why Is That You Must Learn. I might have done those, just at least one verse. He didn't do Stop the Violence. I would have brought out Just Ice. I would have definitely did Going Way Back. I would have did Mash It Up. Shout out to Just. Just texted me last week too. Shout out to Just. I would have definitely brought out Just Ice. Um, I would have brought out Shaba, so they could have did their jam together. That would have been massive. Shaba had it came out in Brooklyn, it would have been over. Um, I would have tried to recreate Self Destruction. They've never done that song, everybody together. I would have brought out everyone who is still with us. Who's a Heavy D wouldn't have been on it. He passed away. I think just Heavy D. I would have brought out Public Enemy, Dougie, everybody, Stetsasonic, Light. Miss Melody is going too. I would have brought out everybody who was on Self Destruction. I would have brought them out. Um, yeah, would have got a little busy, but that's just me. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I was not part of those discussions, even though I was there. Um, Anthony Augustus says, "Are you going to have any rehearsals for the shows, or is it pretty much second nature, being that you've been doing shows for so long?" I would say it's second nature, and we don't really rehearse anymore like that. It's just rehearsing is almost live. We try things out in front of the crowd. There's times we messed up, you would never know. Um, there's times we did things it's like, that didn't work. Let's not do that no more. There's times we tried out stuff and was like, that's dope, and we kept doing it. Um, the BDP show is very fluid, so anything could really happen. I always say there's a set list, but after like the first 3 or 4 songs, Chris is gonna go rogue. So who knows what's gonna happen? Um, I'm not doing the first. I'm not sure what shows. I don't think I'm doing the beginning show, so I'll be able to sit and watch Prime DJ and get a feel for what's going on. Uh, because like I said, I'm gonna be the house DJ for sure, and I'll be doing some of the shows. But no, I don't think we'll be practicing. Chris is more just like, yo, do this, do this, do this. All right, you just go. You get it wrong, you just get it wrong in front of a few thousand people. What's the problem? F you too. Where you been? I read the book in 2 days. Thank you. Found out y'all lived in Lenox Terrace. Yes, we did. Harlem, stand up. Jack Swagger says, I've read the book and listened to the audio. Thank you. I've got some crazy questions. Yeah, we talked before. But come with it. Sunday, 1 o'clock. Uh, let's see. Amal. I hope I got your name right. Says, I haven't been able to catch the live stream for 2 years, but I always catch the replays. Big up to the Rewind crew. And thank you, Amal, for catching this live. Um, yeah, Parsons, RIP Blondie from the sequence. Yeah, we just mentioned that a little bit. KB Play says Razcast. Yes, I said it right the first time. Thank you. Uh, Jermaine J. Wu says, okay, what is the best platform to order the audiobook? Well, it's only on Audibles. So the only platform to order it is on Audibles. Um, I chose to go. Uh, I chose to go exclusively through Audibles, but I think it's on Audibles. I think it's on Audibles and iTunes are together, so you can get it from iTunes or Audible. But I say Audible is the best. I chose to go exclusively with Audibles. Didn't Buckshot get beat up on the street like a year ago? Yeah, I saw that horrible video. I saw that horrible video. I don't know what the story it was behind that, but Buckshot is my man. That's my boy to the end. That's my brother. So whoever did that is a sucker. KP, is Just Ice gonna be on the tour? Not that I heard of. Is my man Luka Doncic returning for the playoff a good idea? Well, as we know, he tore his hamstring. Grade state was a grade 2 hamstring injury, which is 4 to 6 weeks. Um, and he's going to Spain to have a procedure done that is not legal in America, but legal in Europe. I know Kobe Bryant did it for an injury, and LeBron James has done it too. Even though LeBron James, I have to look at him side eye, but Kobe did it, and Luca is going to do it now. And if the doctors, they say he consulted with the Lakers doctors, with his own personal doctors, and he's going to Spain for their doctors. If they say it's okay, then I would say it's okay, even though I can't trust the Lakers doctors. The Lakers have had the worst injury report of any team I can remember in a while. That whole Lakers training staff, I'm looking at them sideways too. Um, I think if Luka wants to play and he feels good, he should play. Because let's say he hurts his hamstring again, he has the whole summer. He has June, July, August, September, and October to get right. So if he feels good, I would go. I want to see him play. I want to see him compete. And I think that if his hamstring is feeling okay, I've had a hamstring pull, a minor one, and it cripples you. I had a minor hamstring, and you can't even move. It's like a muscle just tightens up in the back of your thigh. And he has a tear. So that really hurt me last week too. Corey Frost says, other special guests for Sunday. Your friend that really loves Biz Marquis. We have some questions. Actually, you know what? I heard that he passed away. Um, really, I need to tell that to Cynthia's China Doll. I got to tell you that somebody we know passed away. I just found that out. The guy from the book who said that about Biz, he passed away recently. Uh, that's why I says, ain't nobody dropping King Timmy III at a barbecue. No. Uh, Mike Rock says, I don't know about traveling abroad right now with this nuthead in DC. Yeah, man, the world is a scary place right now, but and being American in a lot of places, I don't know what that reaction is gonna be, but we're gonna find out. Um, but I'm gonna be in Europe, so is I'm not gonna be somewhere where I think right in the direct line of fire, God willing. So we see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes. Tell you the truth, that's a good point. Um, let's see. Let me scroll down a little bit. Honestly, says Kennedy, U.S. is a big place, though. Lots of learning, lots of culture shock. It's a big world out here, y'all. Things are not the same state to state. Yeah, even in America, even if you don't travel out of the country, even in America, the South and the North and the East, the Midwest, and is way different. First of all, New York City, where I'm from, is different than the whole rest of America. And then if you go down south, you're in like a whole different country. If you go to the Midwest, that's like a different country That's how different the U.S. is, and it's a melting pot of all kind of cultures too. So even if you get to travel around the country, um, that is a good thing. Let's see. People says, according to Shan, I helped pioneer this. The way I shine. I used to like that song. Well, Marley Marl's production helped pioneer this. The song The Bridge is a game-changing record because of the production. So he pioneered sampling. What Marley did on his song. Divine Existence, Piece of KP Showroom, RIP to Blondie of Sequence. Yeah, man. Let's see. What about Gary Bird being a pioneer of rap? Or am I going too far back? No, there were people who were putting words together. Some people say it was Muhammad Ali. Uh, I seen Kaz mention that there was commercials that rhymed that made him want to start rhyming and things like that. I wouldn't call that rapping though. I think the beat. I think what Herc was doing, the beat, the DJ, the beat, and the MC is is hip hop. Before that, there were guys who put poetry together. You even had the last poets and all that. But I sampled a Gary Bird record back in the day too. I think he had a mink hat and he had a mink coat and a mink hat on the cover. Let's see. Let me scroll down. I'm way back. I'm way far behind. Um, Sue Graham said that must be disappointing, KP, to do a show and have to play records just like a typical radio DJ. Thank God for the check, I guess. Yes. I mean, you are there to rock the crowd. It's not about you, it's about them, and that's what they like. Um, a lot of these songs, though, a lot of this new music to me isn't even made to really bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. It's just I don't know. How often do you DJ events, Kenny? Well, last year I was DJing a lot more. I was DJing every week at a residency in New York. I had two residencies. This year, not as much. I'm still DJing here and there, and not as much as last year. But that's about to change. Um, let's see. Typo says Harlem stops at 155th Street, but Manhattan ends at 230 something Street. Across from the water is the Bronx. Yeah, you're going all the way up into Dykeman, where the Dominicans are. Yeah, once you pass 155th, uh you're going up into Dykeman. It's still Manhattan, but it's not Harlem anymore. It goes all the way up to 230. And then the Bronx has its own numbers. It could get confusing when you get way up in the numbers, y'all. But that's basically how Manhattan is broken down from the numbers going up. So when they say uptown, it's because you're going up the numbers. I'm gonna jump down a little bit because I'm way far behind. Feel the vibe, feel the beat. Yes, People Jones. My favorite song I ever produced with KRS, I think. KP, any chance of hearing Nervous live? From me, zero chance. I've criticized he wants to do it. I don't think I've ever seen him do that song live. And I hopefully never will. uh let's see. Um, KP, I would like to see a documentary on the Roxy and the T Connection. Those are the early hip hop clubs. That was a little before my time. I would definitely like to see that. Throw in the Fever. The Fever. Bob did it, Bob the Bang. Rest in peace to Love Bug Starsky. At the Fever. The Fever was big. The Roxy. Chris did a show at the Roxy. Was it the Roxy or was it Roseland? He go, well, no, we did the Roxy. Let's see. JT says, "Where your brother?" My Shaba impersonation. Uh, let's see. I'm so far behind. This still talking about the verses. Um, let's see. Gregory says, "Bring Nas and your show is a hit." Yeah. Well, I know you love Nas just about as much as anybody. That would be dope. They didn't even do 20 songs because of Kane. He didn't have 20 he could have used for that purpose. Yeah, Kane did less than 20 songs. But I think KRS could have picked up the slack. He could have did 25. I mean, it's not on him to pick up the slack. It's a versus, but but they're friends. So I just wish I would have did that. I would have done it a little differently. But it was still dope. Um, let's see. All right, I'm gonna jump down a little bit so I can keep up. Oh, damn, I jumped down a lot. Let me jump in right here. This is 5 minutes behind. Do you prefer iPhone or over Android? I've never had an Android. I've only had iPhones. Had an iPhone since it first came out, iPhone 1, and that's the only phone I've ever had. Uh, Ooh, Rod Justice, you about to get some heat for this. I hate traveling to Georgia. I don't know why black people who are not from there love Atlanta. There's so many people from New York there now. I like Atlanta. I like Georgia. I love peaches. Um, I don't look at Georgia as anything. It's just the South. Um, I never had a problem with Georgia, and the shows be dope. Uh, yeah, Mike Rock, this is interesting. Yeah, first time I went to the Chi, I thought everything stayed open like New York. Nope, that was a culture shock for me. First time I came to Jersey, I thought stores stayed open. In New York, we used to have back in days 24 hours. The bodegas be open 24 hours. You could always get a snack. And a lot of stuff closed real late, like 12. The rest of America, if you don't get what you need to get by 10 o'clock, you are finished. Um, Kanye West is banned from entering the UK. Music festival canceled. I saw that they were talking about it. Is that true? Did they officially go ahead and ban him? I didn't know that. I'm seeing this for the first time. Um, Roswell said James Brown was rapping, but it wasn't hip hop. Yeah, that's my take. There were guys who they weren't rapping because it wasn't called rap. But if you go back and look at it from today's perspectives, they technically were. But nah. Uh, True story, Spook Realm. I like this. When I first started going to New York as a youth, I was shocked to learn that there were people born and raised in certain boroughs that never left their borough in their entire life. Yeah. There's people born in certain sections that never left their area, their projects. If you're from certain parts of New York, everything you need is within a few blocks. Your schools are there, grammar school, high school. There's stores to buy all your food and clothes. You know everybody. There's parties. There's certain places in New York where you never really have to leave your immediate area. And if you do, there's beef in other sections too. So it ain't safe to leave your immediate area. But yeah, I can remember parts. I mean, I lived in Brooklyn, but I went to high school way out in Coney Island. Shout out to Abraham Lincoln High School. So I traveled from Flatbush, Crown Heights, Bed-Stuy, all the way out to Coney Island, which is like an hour away on the train. It's like 45 minutes on the train. Um, but had I went to high school in my zone area, I would have never needed to leave the area. Why would I go to Manhattan if I lived in Brooklyn? What reason do I have to go to Manhattan except if you was going to the Deuce? The only reason you would go to the Deuce is because you just wanted to hang out, but there's no reason to go to 42nd. If you lived in Brooklyn or Queens, there's no reason to go to the other boroughs. Don't be shocked. Yeah, it kind of makes sense to me, but it's not good in a growth, intellectual and growth perspective. You need to get out there, man. CMC, once again, you are the dawn. Thank you. Listen to PMD's Business is Business album. He has a song called B-Boy. I'm a B-boy standing in my B-boy stance. Did the B-boys travel to rap shows and perform, or did they have their own setup? Well, this is a little before my time. That'd be a great question for like Crazy Legs and one of them. I would imagine that B-boys traveled to wherever the party was. Block parties, jams, clubs. They would travel to wherever the party was and set up shop there. Like B-boys travel when BDP shows, they have B-boys there all the time. Um, I was not part of the B-boy culture like that, but I would say that they traveled to, especially if they wanted to battle other crews, you would meet up at the Roxy or wherever. Your crew, my crew, Saturday, we're gonna be at the Roxy, we meeting up, and you start going at it. Um, so I would say they met up at places. For those that's just tuning in, we are doing the book live question and answer Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is the time that we are doing it. Sunday, 1 p.m. This Sunday coming up the 12th. And I will be heading out on the KRS-One My Philosophy Tour in a couple of weeks. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. Um, you ever went to the Uptown Garage in Harlem? Uptown Garage? No, I never heard of that. I know of the Garage, the legendary dance club. I never been there, but I would have loved to have gone there. Larry Levan, all those classic R&B songs that used to rock on the radio. I would have loved to have heard them loud. Rest in peace, Larry Levan, one of the great DJs of all time. 49 and L, what up? Black Pudding says, I got fam in Queens that never been to Manhattan. Yeah, there's really no reason. I mean, there's a reason, but there's nothing you can do in Manhattan that you can't do in Brooklyn and Queens, basically. I'm trying to think. I mean, unless you want to go to like I said, the Empire State Building or something like that. You want to go to Broadway, or Manhattan has some of the most famous nightlife, 42nd Street, things like that, the Macy's, 34th Street, things like that. But other than that, like your day to day, you have no reason to leave your borough. FE2 says, I lived in New York City 46 of my 47 years, I've never been to Staten Island yet. I've been on the ferry. I didn't play basketball growing. If I didn't play basketball growing up, I probably wouldn't have gone to Brooklyn. Yeah, that makes sense. I've been to Staten Island a few times. I don't remember even why I was out there. I went as a kid to play ball. We played ball there. Um, there's really no reason to be in Staten Island unless you live there. There's nothing in Staten Island except the Wu Tang and a ferry. That's it. No disrespect to Staten Island, but y'all are a borderline part of the five boroughs. Boy, Wu Tang really, really put Staten Island on the map. Um, but yeah, and I'm saying even in parts like if you live in Harlem, Harlem is from 110th Street to 155th. That's it. And then it goes across probably 8 long avenues or something like that, whatever. 8th Avenue, 7th, 5th, 4th, it goes like that across. You have no reason to leave Harlem. For what? You can get anything you want in Harlem. It sounds a little ignorant, but it's true. Rochester says B-boys and B-girls probably follow the music. Yeah, that's how I see it. Um, let's see. JT says, I agree with Spook. It was shocking for me to hearing my friends from Flatbush and Brownsville. Ooh, you have friends from Brownsville? Ooh. That never been, you could tell a guy from Flatbush saying that about Brownsville. That never been outside of New York City. Some had never left Brooklyn. Crazy to me. It was all city. I was all city. Yeah, especially with the trains go everywhere. The New York City subway, you could pay one token and go all over the place. But people just stayed in their area. I was all over, or we lived all over. For those that have the book, no, we lived in 3 of the five boroughs. And I played ball in different tournaments, so I was all over the place. Um, let's see. Oh, damn, Barry Allen said my ex-girl, good for her to be an ex, stole my Paradise Garage record set. Wow. Yeah, she needs to be an ex. Wow. I don't know about this spook realm. Us massholes started going to New York only because to us it was the mecca of hip hop. It is. Before hip hop, we didn't care about New York. Come on, spook realm. New York is the mecca of pretty much just about everything. Not before hip hop. So you're talking the 70s and before, New York was still the greatest city in the world. Everything is here. And most things started here. Not trying to sound, like I'm waving the New York flag, I am, but keep it a buck. Just about everything, either it started here in New York or the biggest one is here in New York. And if it's not the biggest, it's the second biggest is here. So before hip hop, New York has a lot of landmarks, bro. But I could hear that. I don't necessarily agree, but I hear where you're coming from. Typo says that's not true. All the best is in Manhattan. I agree. The best is in Manhattan, but that if you're not going to something in particular, you don't need to be in Manhattan. Rosmel says Madison Square Garden is in Manhattan, Radio City, the Apollo. These are all legendary spots, iconic venues. Intrepid Museum, all of the great museums, the Museum of Natural History. New York has some of the greatest museums in the world. The biggest library in the world is in Manhattan. Manhattan it has all of the landmarks. Not all, but most of the all. Even the Brooklyn Bridge, probably the most famous bridge in the world. One side is Brooklyn and the other side is Manhattan. um, But you're right. Like I said, if you wasn't going to an event or something, you didn't have to be in Manhattan. Buffalo started finally getting some shine after Griselda. Buffalo just has snow. And you're always trying to send your snow down here. Keep your snow, Buffalo. Oh man. I'm hating on everywhere but New York. Uh Donald McCall, what's up? Says, yo, Kenny, what we know about American music occasionally, all of us think Elvis Presley started think all of us think Elvis Presley started rock and roll before he got famous, but he didn't. It was Sister Rosetta Tharpe who invented it. Nobody who understands music, especially not the black community, thinks Elvis Presley started rock and roll or was the king of rock and roll. Elvis Presley studied black music and took it to the masses and became a star, a huge star, the biggest star. So much so big that he became the king of rock and roll off of something that he borrowed. He is the quintessential cultural vulture. Quintessential. Icon poet. Thank you so much for your contribution to the channel. That's my point. Lots of New Yorkers act like we so backward in the South, and many of them have never left their block. I think both of those things. Yo, if you ain't from New York, you backwards, man. That's how we see it. We are very self-centered, and we believe New York is the center of the universe, which in a lot of ways it is. Um, However, that's just I'm just messing with you, but that's how New Yorkers see it, and that's why a lot of that's where the whole East Coast West Coast beef came started with us acting like we was all that to the point where we was snubbing other parts of the country, which was wrong to an extent, because a lot of places weren't up to par and wanted to be accepted, and you're not up to par. We're just not going to say you're dope just because. We're listening to Rakim, LL Cool J, Kane, Slick Rick. That's what we rocking to. Now, if you come here and you come and half stepping, come on. But I say all that to say, New York could be a very elitist acting. We are. We think, and I've said this many times on this channel, if you're not from the five boroughs, you're from the woods to us. That's just what it is. Um, and many of them have never left their block. But let me say this, and you are correct, but let me tell you this. An average block in New York would be the strip in most of the world. And I'm going to say that I've been all over the world. I've been to what they consider the hot spot. And I'm looking at it like this is regular. Like this isn't even in New York. This isn't even, this looks like if you in Brooklyn, this looks like Flatbush. I've been to Paris. I'm walking around Paris and I'm looking around. I'm like, it's cool. I was in Switzerland. They showed me the strip that's like the hot strip where all of the stores are. And I'm like, this looks like a piece of Fifth Avenue. This looks like if I took Fifth Avenue and cut it in quarters and gave you 1/4 of Fifth Avenue and put it in Switzerland. Like, if you think this is dope, you should come to Fifth Avenue in Manhattan if you want to see stores. And I say all that to say, you can be local in New York and still be in the dopest, one of the dopest spots in the world. And I'm not just trying to act like I'm like, New York is all that, but really it is. I'm sorry to say it, but it really, downtown Brooklyn would be the absolute shit in 99% of the earth. And downtown Brooklyn can't compare to downtown Manhattan. The biggest department store in the world is Macy's 34th Street, which happens to be the first department store in the world. The biggest parade in the world is the Macy's Day Parade. The biggest fireworks in the world is New York. The biggest New Year's Eve party in the world is New York. That's what I'm saying. When you're from New York and you see this, and other people be like, "Well, I'm from this part of town, and y'all ain't all that," and you're looking like, "Hold on, man." Now I understand your point, because New York be acting, a little extra with it. But if you gotta really, you gotta give it up, man. I know it's very difficult as a New Yorker, but my people from New York, the people on this channel that's from New York, y'all know what I'm talking about. Uh, but it also caused people to not like New York people for the way we act, and I understand that. The real brother Rob says, "Get the book. It was so good." Thank you, brother Rob. Yes, the link is in the description below. Is the BDP tour coming to Florida? Chris was just in Florida, like what, 2 days ago? This particular, this particular, um, this particular tour is a European tour. Tybo says slow, not backwards. Yes, that's a better word, not backwards. Even though I remember going down south, and they're like, "Why y'all talk so fast? Why y'all in such a hurry?" That's what they used to say to us, like, "Y'all, why y'all talk so fast?" Yo, this is how we talk. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get into a New York versus the rest of the world, even though I think I could, but um, Divine Existence says, "KP, big up to you for releasing an authentic book of nearly 300 pages. There's many indie authors who overcharge for poorly edited books with only 3 to 4 sentences per page to make the book seem longer." Yeah, you know what? It's funny that you mentioned that. I picked up a famous rapper's book, and you're right that they spaced out the words almost like triple space to make the book, and had paragraphs double spaced to make it look like there's more to the pages than they actually were. You are correct about that. First of all, thank you so much for the kind words. And you are correct, because I did read a book that I said, "Wow, they really made this look longer than it was." I actually had to condense my book to 300 pages. There was so much more I wanted to talk about. Um, Gergen says Brooklyn Girls is the grimiest. Yes, Brooklyn is the grimiest. Apache B44, here you go, fam. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Thank you for your contribution to the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, JT, KP, early book question. How well has the book done, and has it met your expectations? I don't want to answer that question. I'm gonna save all of that for Sunday. I try not to have expectations. Um, I don't have a publisher breathing down my neck saying, if your book doesn't do X amount of numbers, then it was not a success. I just wanted to put it out to the world. Um, and what it does is what it does. And I look at my book as something for all time, for people to. I also want it as a reference. I want it to be something that you can say, "I'm studying BDP, I'm studying KRS, whatever, and I went to the Kenny Parker book and used that quotes and pieces, information from that book as an absolute reference when you're talking about our group." So I wanted stuff to be in there as accurate as possible. I'm going to talk about that on Sunday, but so did it meet my expectations? I'm going to say I don't have expectations. I just want to do what it's going to do, and it has done everything that I can dream of and more. Um, oh, I don't want to mess your name up. SCT class. I don't want to butcher your name, but thank you so much. Turn the book into a movie, KP. Working on it. That's the goal. That's part of the whole story. Please tune in on Sunday, 1 p.m. I'll explain to you more while I say that's part of the story. Um, but thank you. Let me scroll down a little bit. I know you guys are gonna try to kill me over my New York rant, but explicit says New York got Frank Sinatra. He's really from Jersey, I think. Is he from Jersey? But he said if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. It's true. That's not a diss. Like if you can make it in New York, New York is the most competitive, brutal, cutthroat place in the world to make it. I'm gonna stop my New York rant unless y'all force it out of me. If you don't care about New York, you don't care about hip hop. Um, I would say that in the beginning. I think hip hop has expanded so far around the world now, and it's been so many years that the youth now, they don't even have any sense of history or even care where it came from. They're just concerned about their version of hip hop, which is fine. Um, which is fine. Um, I would say that from the beginning, yeah. But now it's hip hop is worldwide. Brian Mitchell, what's up, KP? I have not been to New York since '03. I've been to 4 of the 5 boroughs. I've never been to Staten Island. I didn't even know Staten Island had a hood. The Staten Island that I see is all houses. And Staten Island even votes completely different. New York's 4 boroughs is strictly Democratic, like 80%. And Staten Island is like 90% Republican. It's the weirdest thing. It's like the 4 boroughs are blue overwhelmingly, and the 1 borough, Staten Island, is red. Staten Island should be really part of Jersey. Jersey City is more New York than Staten Island. Now I'm really in trouble. Hope nobody from the Wu is watching this. Big up to the Wu-Tang Clan. I don't want no problems. Like I said a million times, um, um, Wu-Tang really, really did more for the PR of Staten Island than anyone in the history of the. They should have their own. Each individual Wu-Tang member should have a street named after them. The PR that they did for Staten Island cannot be matched. Markeith says 177 Grand Concourse worried about health after apartment overrun with rats. Oh my goodness. Yeah, New York was the rat capital of the world, but we're now sunk to third, which I cannot believe. I'm gonna big up Mayor Adams then. Big up ex-Mayor Adams. This is one of the few things he did great for New York. He got us from #1 rats population down to 3. Um, for those that's read my book, I'm very, very afraid of rodents. Elvis grew up in a black church. I did not know that, nor did he mention that to the world. Uh, let's see. FE2 says nothing like New York City in the world during the 1900s. So much influence, innovation, excellence, culture, basketball. It's true. The culture, the fashion, the music. Like I said, if you go to like 1976, 77, just in New York City alone, three of the biggest genres in the world of music was created in that time period, and it was on its way. Punk rock, the Ramones, Blondie, those type of groups were all bubbling in the Lower East Side, in CBGBs. We did a show there actually, BDP. And CBGBs in the Lower East Side, all of those artists, Basquiat and all those people were there. And at the same time, in the gay community, the disco scene was exploding. And you had Studio 54, probably the most famous nightclub of all time. That whole era was growing and disco was growing. And then you had in the Bronx hip hop. And all of it was growing, and then it all just blew and took over the world of music. I mean, you could just go down the list of New York City, but I'm not because I'm starting to be a real New York City protagonist right now. Uh, And Gage said, I'll never forget the first time in Brownsville. First time I had seen everybody exit the train before getting there. Yeah. Brownsville's in Brooklyn, y'all, and it's the worst part of Brooklyn, which made it the worst part of New York. Let's see. Let's see. Let me scroll down a little bit. How far behind am I? I fell far behind ranting about New York. I see Benny Do. I see y'all talking about Tainted Love. Y'all know that's my song. That's why y'all on here dissing that song. Shout out to Soft Cell, Tainted Love. That record was dope, man. I don't know what y'all talking about. New York City is fly, but Cali has the world's seventh largest economy. Los Angeles is another Los Angeles. I'm gonna say California, but Los Angeles. That's another city that can really. That's the only other city I think in America that can compete with New York City. They have a lot of big things going on there. And although California has the largest economy, the world's economy flows through New York City. Let's not forget Wall Street is in Lower Manhattan. Everything goes through there. The World Financial District is in Manhattan. The Diamond District is in Manhattan. The World Trade Center is in Manhattan. All the money has to go through Manhattan. No matter how big your economy is, all the money still has to go through New York. The United Nations is here. I mean, there's nothing you could really say. I mean, I don't want to. I'm gonna. I don't know. I don't want to start. I already started too much. FU2 says, I'm from both sides of Harlem. Nothing like Harlem, New York City. Even Jersey City, Baltimore, and Newark are the closest I've seen, but it still wasn't close to the atmosphere of New York City. I agree. Well, Jersey City is right. Jersey City is so close to New York that they try to call it the sixth borough, even though it's not. It's Jersey, but I'm very familiar with Jersey City, so it's literally you can see New York. So you could stand in Jersey City and see the whole New York City skyline. You can swim. A good swimmer can swim across the Hudson River to New York. Um, I think Baltimore has its own vibe. Baltimore has a vibe, but it's like its own vibe. I don't know if I could compare it to New York, but there's a vibe there. It's different. Baltimore is so different from even DC. It's like it's right next to DC, but it's like completely different. Newark, New Jersey might be the closest to Brooklyn, I think. Newark is off the walls, man. Every time I've ever been to Newark, New Jersey, just about, I felt uneasy. Newark, New Jersey, where Redman is from, they off the wall over there too. Don't sleep. Rosmel said New York City was the first nation's capital before DC. I didn't know that. DJ Dominic says New York City, y'all all right. Coming from Texas, can't wait to visit. Yeah, we cool over here. I like Texas. Come on, New York. What they say, New York in a year has 58 million tourists. There's 8 million people live here, and 58 million tourists come here. It's like you can't even move. Um, let's see. Ami Hassan says we felt 100% New York when we lived in Newark, New Jersey, style wise. Yeah, you're right there. Newark, New Jersey is right there. How long it take to get through? 20 minutes? 20 minutes in a car ride from Newark? Um, Seems like KRS never stops touring. Dude's a beast. Yeah, he literally never stops touring. And that's why it's been so difficult for me to get him on the channel, because he's always somewhere. Uh, Bugger says, Kenny, I won't dispute New York's relevance or standing, but doesn't the state owe a lot of that to logistics in regards to the rest of the world? I don't know. I mean, New York was one of the original 13 colonies, right? But I would think, based on that, Boston was popping more than New York, right? In the beginning. I don't know if I got my social studies lessons correct from high school, but Boston is where the revolution started and everything, right? Um, I think there's some other states, Philadelphia, that's as old as New York, that had an equal chance to have uh that stature. I don't know why New York. Maybe it is legit, but what is New York really close to? Canada. It has a shoreline, but the same Atlantic Ocean. We share the same Atlantic Ocean with the whole East Coast. I don't know how New York became like that. That's a good question. B-Boy Jones says KP rocking a New York versus everyone shirt. We don't want to be versus everyone. We just talk about what's going on in our town, and it's a lot. Uh, this is true. Come on, Brooklyn Geek. Let's go. Says New York is so cool. John Lennon moved here after being harassed by the world for years. You know why? Because people left him alone. We don't even stress celebrities like that. We don't. Because I read a survey once that said on any given day, 30 to 40 of the most important people, important and richest people in the world are in New York City on any given day. And that's not even with the United Nations being in session. Just on an average day, the richest and most famous and most powerful people in the world are in New York, 30 or 40 of them. And when you see so many celebrities, after a while, it's just like New York kind of like, I'm not saying they don't jock people, but after a while, they kind of like leave people alone. Like, oh, there goes so and so. But Donna used to live not far from there too. Like, you just be chilling. In New York, you could see a celebrity. If you're out and about, you could see celebrities walking around all the time. I see all kind of people, big celebrities, smaller actors, because Broadway is here, and Los Angeles, Hollywood has movies on lockdown, but New York has television on lockdown. So a lot of the actors are either here or there. So you see everybody. I'm gonna get off this New York kick, y'all. I swear, y'all keep dragging me back in. Nothing is going to compare to New York, but many of y'all can't appreciate the other places for what they are and what they can offer. That's the problem. It's all love. I agree, Icon Poet. I agree. We're so caught up in what we're doing that we kind of snub our noses at other places. I agree. And I always say New York is extremely snobbish and we act like we all that to the point of annoying. I agree with that. And there's a whole bunch of places that have a whole bunch of things to offer. Um, you are correct. And it's all I'm not even arguing with that. That is an absolute true point. If we stop acting like we're all that and take the time to enjoy other places, maybe we would have a good time. But we're so busy going places, going, oh, this isn't New York. If this is New York, it'll be like this. Oh, this is if New York, it'll be like this. Instead of going somewhere and just saying this is what it is here and enjoy yourself. I agree, 100%. I should bookmark that. I like that comment a lot. Oh shoot, we're in overtime. Y'all didn't even say nothing. It's 9:36. We are in OT. Um, this is the Kenny Parker Show. For those that's new to the show, anything after 9:30 is overtime. Um, please hit the thumbs up if you get a chance. Helps the algorithm. Big up to the Rewind crew who's gonna check this out later on. Um, Sunday will be the book live. I'm gonna remind everybody again on Friday. Um, let me scroll down a little bit more uh, to the bottom. I'm not that far behind. Yeah, I am. Um, I wanted to see some more of you comments. Icon says New York does have the best women, though. Love that attitude. Los Angeles might have New York beat on that. Brooklyn Geek says disagree. KP Harlem is way grimier than Brooklyn. They got Alpo. Just saying. Alpo was horrible, but Brooklyn. Brooklyn. I'd say Brooklyn. I don't even. Harlem is the hustlers. Like I look at Harlem as like getting money. Harlem dudes look like Dipset, Cameron with the pink suits and the belt buckles and puffy with all of the. Harlem is extra flamboyant. Brooklyn is fatigues and Tims and hoodies. MOP, Mike Tyson, Brownsville. That Alpo was one of the most legendary street dudes of all time. But and he was from Harlem. Bronx had a lot of grimy dudes too. And Queens had the Supreme Team. They're too. It was ridiculous. I would say Alpo was right at the top of the grimiest dudes ever in Harlem. But Brooklyn in general, you ever used to go to them parties back in the day when all of the boroughs came to one party? Then you would know. And you from Brooklyn? Come on, Brooklyn geek. Rod Justice says, at Kenny Parker, your book is the authority on BDP. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I tried to be as factual and accurate as possible. Explicit says, Kenny, you should contact Michael Francis. He is very humble. I watch dozens of his podcasts and think it would be an interesting convo show if it would happen. I would love to get on his show. I don't know if he would even know who I am or care, but I watched literally dozens of his uh, podcasts. Jack Swagger says that book surpassed my expectations and more. It was mind blowing. Thank you so much, Jack Swagger. Thank you so much. Um, we're gonna do a scroll down. This is random. Marquise, R.I.P. Sammy Davis Jr., 64, 7 million in debt after two divorces and addiction struggles. Yeah, the taxes, it was the IRS. He didn't pay his taxes, and his wife took mad money from him. Um, I call Paul says, also, y'all don't have a sense of humor. Crack a smile once in a while. I agree. New York is always trying to have ice. I agree. Yo, Icon Poet, you got New York down, man. I can't even argue with nothing you're saying. Nothing at all. I can't even damn. Can't even argue. Let me scroll down a little bit. Um, that's funny. I can't argue with any of your New York City points. Viewer says, Force MDs meet the Fat Boys. Wasn't that video from the Staten Island Ferry? Yeah. And Let Me Love You. I love the Force MDs. I met them and I was fanning out on them so bad. I was so excited to meet them. Years ago, we did a show with them. Um, Love is the House. That's my record. Yeah, they did their videos on the ferry, but it didn't really rep Staten Island. First MDs were from Staten Island, and so was UMCs. But I don't remember them really repping it like that. But people, first of all, back in the Force MDs days, they were rappers, the Force MCs that became the Force MDs. R&B groups didn't really rap like that. Even though they did have Staten Island, they were on the ferry. I think the cover of their album is on the ferry. So they were repping Staten Island. But when the Wu came, talking about the projects, I'm like, the projects? What projects are in Staten Island? They're like Park Hill and all this, and how grimy it was. And I had to do some investigating. I'm like, yo, it's real out there where they're from. It's real. Shout out to the Wu. I had no idea about Wu Tang, Staten Island life until they came along. Um, Greg Inez, did you ever get jumped by a rat, Kenny? Read the book. BDP stayed doing videos on the Lower East Side. Justice did going way back, Mel Quantity. Yeah. My philosophy videos, part of it is in the Lower East Side, part of it is in the Bronx. I got to investigate that. We've done some videos in the Bronx. Duck Down is in the Bronx. We in there is in the Bronx. I got to investigate that. You know, Love's Gonna Get You was in a studio across the street from Queensbridge Projects. We did Love's Gonna Get You video in Queensbridge, well, across the street. Uh, let's see. Um, Fox, I thought Red Hook was the worst. Red Hook was bad. Now let me say this about Brooklyn. The, the whole half of Brooklyn, because there's a half. Brooklyn was split. This is in the 70s, 80s, 90s. It's different now. But back in the day, Brooklyn was split in half. The one section was more like uh Bensonhurst, Bay Ridge. That's where John Gotti and all them were from. That's the white section. That's where the mob is. Of course, New York City had the biggest mob too, but that's where the mob is. And then the other side was black. And these areas, Red Hook, Bed-Stuy, Fort Greene, Flatbush, Crown Heights, Brownsville, East New York, you're talking miles and miles in square miles in every direction of just hoods, tenements, and projects piled together. Brooklyn is the worst borough. Um, every borough has their hard parts. It's just that Brooklyn has more of it. It's just more ignorance. And you could see when you go to the clubs and they be like, who's in the house? And they be like, is Bronx in the house? You get like, is Uptown in the house? You get like, oh, Queens, you get like, eh. Then they say Brooklyn and the whole place just explodes. It's like Brooklyn is just everywhere and it causing problems. You had to be from New York to understand. You had to be in Latin quarters or even the tunnel to really understand. Um, JT says, I was too young and green to know how bad Brownsville was. Love staying over there. Yeah, Brownsville is the worst, man. Um, let's see. Um, Cali has a big economy, but also has the highest homeless population in the United States perspective. I did not know that. There's a lot of homeless in New York too, man. Lots. The New York Stock Exchange is in New York City. I forgot about the stock exchange. Talking about Wall Street, the stock exchange. All money has to come through here. That's just the way it is. JC says, I doubt the UN will be there much longer. I doubt the UN will be the UN much longer. The UN is holding on by a thread. So is NATO. That's another conversation for another time. Um, let's see. We're in overtime, y'all. We're deep in OT. Uh, trying to get some of you last comments here. Because I didn't scroll. Even in OT, I'm super far behind. Roger says, what is New York close to? Water shipping. I agree, New York has the big ports, but so does Boston. The whole East Coast is water shipping. Why did it become New York? Why not Jersey? Why not Philly? Let me think of the whole East Coast. Is Jersey, Philly going down? DC, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina. Why not any of these waterways? Why New York? I don't know the answer, but I'm just saying, why New York? Philadelphia had Benjamin Franklin and all of those guys. The Declaration of Independence is sitting there. Why not Philly? Yeah, it did end bad for John Lennon, though. But a fan, not from New York, traveled there, a psycho, to hurt him. Um, JT said this will go down as the New York City episode. We're gonna call it that. I tried not to. I tried for it not to be that, but I'm just saying. Baby Doll says, Kenny, can you give me more edition of Love is a House? That was De La Soul level of fire. Nah, I don't even know what made me sing Love is a House right there. You will never, ever, 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 ever hear me sing Love is a House by the Force MDs ever again. But that was my record. I can't even lie. Oh my goodness gracious. Bill Shapiro says hip hop versus rap the best. Thank you so much. That's the Kenny Parker production. Um, East New York used to be crazy. Yes. My family lived in New York. And my family lived in East New York. Denise says KP Brooklyn is grimy, aggressive, and very cutthroat. Yes. All of the above. FE2 says Brooklyn is the biggest borough, had way more neighborhoods than any other boroughs. That's true too. That's true. But Manhattan is huge too. Manhattan is just, it has its spots, but Brooklyn is just um let's see. Brooklyn Geek says Brooklyn pride is unmatched worldwide. It's true. See, I don't want to sound. We can't talk about New York no more, y'all, because I'm just gonna keep on. Shout out Brooklyn in a party, and two Brooklyn people will go crazy. Yo, we was in Japan, years ago at an army base, and we was like New York. Oh, it's in Brooklyn. It's like a couple people just lost it. You are correct. Brooklyn, because you got to understand, when you're from New York, but if somebody asks you where you're from, you're not going to say I'm from New York. You're going to say a specific part. I'm from Harlem. I'm from Queens. I'm from Brooklyn. Being from Brooklyn is different from being from Queens, even though it's New York. But you're right. Brooklyn pride is unmatched. You are correct. KP, New York has the best museums and libraries. I'm not gonna talk about anything else New York because I'm gonna y'all this is then again, is this the New York episode? Mike Rock says, hold on. The dominant shipping ports are in Jersey. Let's not get crazy. Now I don't know, I'm not too familiar with the shipping port, so it could be Jersey. My question is the comment was New York became popular because it's close to the water and the shipping. And my argument was, well, what about the other states that's close to the water, like Jersey or Philly or Maryland? But I would not argue that. I'm not familiar with the shipping. Spook Realm says New Bedford, Massachusetts has always had the greatest shipping ports in the world. See, I don't know. I know the Boston Tea Party back in the 1776 or whatever. Wasn't that where a lot of the shipping to the colonies was coming from Europe to Boston? That's why they threw all the tea in the water or something. Don't get me started. Uh, Jack Swag says, KP, I loved your biz impressions in the book. Thank you. A lot of people do biz. I heard Queen Latifah does a really good biz. I heard Queen Latifah has the best biz Marquis impression out of everybody. Um, but I tried to do mine as best I could do justice to my boy. Um, Buford says, Love as a House is by far the dopest Force MD song. That's a tough one. Because I see somebody else just wrote Tender Love. Rosmel said Tender Love was dope. Let Me Love You was dope. Here We Go Again was dope. Tender Love or Love as a House for me is the two. Verse Pro says, Iran just agreed to a ceasefire. Yeah, I saw that right before we came on. I was saying, thank goodness, um, the world, we were we were standing right at the brink of a calamity, and had the threats of the president of the United States had gone through, he said 8 o'clock today, had what he was alluding to had gone through, the world would be a different place tomorrow. The world. And thankfully, they have a 2-week ceasefire, so we'll see how this works out. But I hope that we can just pull back from this. This is terrible, y'all. Um, Death Rocket says Brooklyn is becoming more gentrified now. Not becoming, it is. Brooklyn is unrecognizable now. The Brooklyn I'm talking about is back in the day. Um, Brooklyn now is If you walk through Bed-Stuy right now where Biggie used to live, you'd be shocked. Shocked. Explicit says no more New York talk or he will get the hat. You are correct. And we only have a little bit more time. We're in overtime, so um I'm not gonna start ranting, but yeah, I guess this is the New York episode. Bill Shapiro says, please sing it again. I'm not singing Love is a House. I can't sing at all. That's so funny. I don't even know what possessed me to even take it there. Brooklyn people anywhere when they get into an argument. I'm from Brooklyn, yo. I'm from Brooklyn, son. Yes. Arguments that have nothing to do with where you're from. All of a sudden, I'm from Brooklyn comes out, which means I won the argument because I'm from Brooklyn. Yeah. Oh my goodness. This is so funny. All right, let me scroll to the very bottom and then I'm going to jump off. I'm at the very bottom. Um, Brooklyn Geek says, I'm in Bed-Stuy every week and I'm still shocked. Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, Cynthia. Tears. I forgot about tears. 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 Matter of fact, when I met you, Cynthia, Tears was probably the record on the radio. Me and Cynthia went to college. China Doll, we went to college together. Yep. Um, JT says, I wouldn't say Iran agreed to a ceasefire. They sent back their 10-point alternative proposal, but I think Trump and Israel, from what I saw, agreed to the ceasefire as they negotiate the points. But they said, see, Trump said a lot of things. But apparently, this is what I was reading just before I came on. Trump says that they have come to an agreement on quite a few sticking points, and they're working out some other things. So they're going to be another 2 weeks, and Israel agreed to stop uh, the war as well. So, but as we know, today at 8 p.m. was supposed to be a horrible time for the world, um, and thankfully it didn't happen. Rosmel says there's hardly any black people in Brooklyn now. Brooklyn is one of the most expensive places on earth now. Um, Brooklyn is nothing like it used to be. When I say nothing, I mean it's shocking. Denizzi says, KP, sing tears. Why y'all trying to play me today, man? Why y'all want to see me embarrass myself, man? Why? Method Man Red says double OT. Yeah, we're deep. We're deep right now. Uh, that's so funny. Oh my goodness. Imagine me singing tears. Yo, I think I did tell a story about when we did a show with the Force MDs. There was a bunch of people on the bill, and most of them had passed away, but there was like a couple of them still alive. And I remember they came in our dressing room and they was like, "Yo, BDP." They was like, "Yo, BDP. We're hip hop. We love BDP." And I'm sitting there going, "Yo, the Force MDs." So we're both. I think Chris had left out of the dressing room. It was me, Will. There's a few of us, but they were really like excited to, you know, chill with BDP, but I was excited to chill with the Force MDs. I'm like, yo, man, I don't know. My brother always calls me a super fan. He's always dissing me, but I do get excited to see people because I always say I can't believe as a music fan, a hip hop fan, how blessed I am been to see the people I've seen perform and to know the people that I know. All right, I'm about to jump off. It's 10 o'clock, y'all. Let me make this smaller. Um, this is the Kenny Parker Show. God willing, we will be back on Friday, all of us, and nobody from hip hop would have passed away. And we'll be here Friday, and then we'll be back on Sunday again. So we got a busy week coming up, y'all. This is the Kenny Parker Show. Um, I will catch you guys again on Friday. All right, I'm out of here. This has been fun, y'all. Talking about New York City always get me gassed up, but I'm gonna stop. But y'all be saying stuff that gets me riled up, man. It's not my fault. All right, that's my last rant. All right, I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.